Welcome to the Cook School Scotland here in Ayrshire, and we're going to be showing you some alternative recipes for Christmas. It's not everybody that likes turkey, stuffing and Christmas pudding, so we've got a series of recipes today which I think we're going to find quite exciting and different. The first recipe we're going to be doing today is what we call a chocolate fondant, and that's basically a gooey chocolate pudding with a runny centre. I was given this recipe over 10 years ago by a colleague in London who was making this for hundreds of people in banquets. So I think to be able to make this for 5 or 10 people is more than capable for everybody at home. It's a lovely recipe, and as I said before, very straightforward. The ingredients we're going to use today, we've got dark chocolate between 65 and 70%. We've got unsalted butter. We've got soft plain flour. We've got some sugar here. Now somebody might say, what are those dark bits in the sugar? This is vanilla sugar, and we use a lot of vanilla at the Cook School, and we simply split the pods. When we've used the pods, we dry them out, we put them with caster sugar, and that gives it an added flavour when you're making pastries and desserts. Three free-range eggs, and we're going to put a bit of mixed spice for those incorrigible Christmas fans who want a touch of Christmas. We're going to put a wee bit of mixed spice in at the end. So how do we make the chocolate fondant? Really quite easy. The first thing we do is going to melt the chocolate and butter together. Obviously when we're doing pastry recipes, we always use unsalted butter. Salted butter is fine on toast in the morning with jam and marmalade if that's what you like, but in professional kitchens most of the butter that's used is actually unsalted. So we're going to put that over what in French terms is known as a bain-marie, or we're going to call it's a double boiler really, and we're going to melt the chocolate very carefully. Some people at the Cook School say they've learnt or seen on television about melting chocolate in the microwave, and yes, you can do. You just got to have it in a very low setting and just ping it for like 10-15 seconds at a time, and it does melt. A lot of professional chocolate makers like to use a microwave because they've got very precise control on the temperature and the melting process. So the chocolate is starting to melt already with the butter. We're going to mix the two together and just see what's going on here. What's really important here, above all, is the temperature of the bowl. You must be able to pick it up. It must just feel warm. I call it baby bottle temperature. Just nice and warm, but not hot. If it starts to feel hot, you've got a problem. The chocolate's going to get too warm, and the cocoa butter, the oils in the chocolate will come out, and it's going to go grainy. So just keep mixing that together, like so. While that's melting, we can just leave it on a low heat. That's absolutely no problem at all. We'll go back to the other ingredients. So we've got the eggs and the sugar. So we're just going to break the eggs into a bowl. Medium-sized free-range eggs. If you want to break these in one hand without getting shelling, that's fine. I don't trust myself personally. That's why I use two hands. So the eggs go into the bowl, and we're just going to beat them lightly with the whisk. We're not trying to make a sabayon or a mousse here. We just want to break them up lightly, so a little gentle whisk like so. Then we add the sugar. So the sugar goes in. Don't worry if you haven't got vanilla sugar. It's not important. Just that we have it, so we might as well use it. Don't have to run out to the latest local deli to pick it up, but it is nice. And then we mix the sugar with the eggs, and again, we're not trying to create a sponge here. We just want to mix the two together, so we don't need to whisk it for hours on end. Just a gentle mix together. You can see that's come. Yeah, so and then the flour. This is the plain flour, which I always sieve. I mean, most flours are very fine and well graded these days, but I always like to sieve them before they go in. And we're just going to mix the flour in the bowl with the beaten eggs and the sugar, like so. And again, we're not trying to create a sponge base, so just gently mix them together like so. As I said earlier on, the recipe that is available doesn't have any spices in. That's the basic ingredients. But as it's Christmas time, if you do want a flavour of Christmas, there's some nice mixed spice here. So I'm just going to put a couple of pinches of mixed spice, which are going to really lend a nice flavour to it. And we're going to beat that in at this stage, which makes it easier to incorporate. This recipe again is a perfect vehicle for other flavours. So we could use orange zest, lime zest, lemon zest. You could put some fresh ginger in there if you want. You could use some crystallized ginger, that very sweet ginger from from China. And you could also put liqueurs in. So if you're desperate, if you're a big fan of whiskey or Baileys, a wee shot in there will also work extremely well. And I would put that in at this point, but literally just half a capful will do you. Back to the chocolate. So the chocolate, as we can see, is just starting to melt, starting to come together. Don't be tempted to rush this on. When I was asked to do the top tips for the website about Christmas time, one of the most important things that we all learn is about preparation. One of the most important things that people take away from the cook school is how much prep we actually do ahead. And don't forget, when you go to a restaurant, the service time is only like from 12 till 2, 6 till 9 or 6 till 7. And the rest of the time when the boys are in there, boys and girls are in the kitchens, it's all about preparation, all about getting ready for those precious moments in service when the chefs are running around like lunatics. So there we go, we're just melting the chocolate and the butter together, almost there, just a wee moment more. And again, let's just look at that temperature. Again, there we go, pick the bowl up, it's just nice and warm, you can pick it up. If it starts to feel hot, starts to feel a wee bit uncomfortable, you know it's getting too warm. That's the secret. Yeah, there we are, so almost mixed together. We use these spatulas at the cook school. These are heat-proof ones. They're fantastic. It's better than a wooden spoon because what happens is you capture all the ingredients, and you can see what I'm doing here. As I'm mixing the chocolate and the butter together, these things are called spoonulars, which is a strange name. These spoonulars just really get to the bottom of the bowl, and you don't lose any of the ingredients whatsoever. We use this when we're doing sauces and things like this, so it just means that all the bits and bobs are kept together. 30 seconds more, and we're almost there. Chocolate, we haven't talked about the chocolate. In the recipe, we've said between 65 and 70%. Don't be tempted to do anything stronger than that. If you go for a slightly stronger chocolate, it's going to get too bitter. If you don't have to use 60%, use a 50 or a 55, will also give you the result that you want. But please don't put 75, 80% chocolate in, because it's just too strong. Those chocolates are nice for eating with a strong coffee, but they're really made for enrobing chocolates. They're not really made to make desserts with as such. So please bear that in mind. If you want to use flavoured chocolate with orange in, again, that's okay. That's acceptable. Not a problem. It won't affect the recipe. Okay, so you can see we've got this lovely smooth texture now. The chocolate and butter have mixed together, nice and smooth and shiny. And we're just going to add the two sets of ingredients together. It doesn't really matter whether we add the chocolate mixture to the egg mixture or vice versa. It really doesn't. I tend to add the chocolate mixture to this, and all we do is quite simply pour the chocolate into the sugar, egg and flour base that we did before, and we just mix those together. Now, once you've added the two sets of ingredients together, it's going to go what we call gloopy.
Just say once you've added it again, that's from there on you go, Stephen.
Yeah, once you've added the two sets of ingredients together, you'll find that it goes what we call gloopy in the kitchen, which is fine. Just give it a wee work. You don't need to go mad, just a gentle beating, like so, and you can see it's already smooth and it's already come together. That's how easy it is. Give it a wee bit of a work, not too much, like so. That's it. If you want to add a bit of flavour of Christmas to it, but you're not that big a fan of the Christmas pudding thing, I like to put in a bit of mixed spice. So we've got some nice ground mixed spice here, and we're going to add a pinch of that to the chocolate. I love this. It's really warm and it just reminds me of Christmas all the time. Even in the middle of summertime, if you're using it, it reminds me of Christmas. I'm going to put a pinch of that into the let's give another pinch. A couple of pinches into the mix. I'm just going to mix it in like so, and you can smell it from here. That smells of Christmas. It's great, and I think this pudding will go down particularly well with kids. Again, Christmas pudding and children don't quite go hand in hand, and this is going to be a sure winner. These moulds that we're going to use, these are available from most supermarket shelves on the disposable counter. Just lightly butter and flour them before so things don't stick, and that's basically all we need to do. So we just pour the mixture into the bowl, like so. You can see it's starting to thicken up already. Makes it easier to work with. And there's a nice tip. Just let it rest for a few minutes before you use it. It's not as runny and which makes it a wee bit easier to deal with. This makes 5, as we said before. If you're serving it for children, you might get 6 out of it. You've got your old auntie or uncle there again, you might get 6. Greedy members of the family, definitely going to get 5. And all we do then is line your moulds on your thing. I'm just going to pour the mix into the moulds like so. Just do them halfway to start with. Okay, so we're just going to put the last few drops in like so. And again, if you're really desperate to get the flavour of Christmas straight away, have a wee lick, which is what I like to do. That's not against the rules. 12 minutes at 190 degrees C. Please set your oven before they go in the oven. Don't just turn the oven on a minute before you put them in. Get the oven hot for a good 15-20 minutes beforehand, and then the cooking process starts almost immediately. And here we are. Here are our chocolate fondants. As I said, 5 all ready to go. We'll bring them over. And it's quite a generous portion here. So again, as I mentioned earlier on, you could get 6. And if you've got very greedy people, no, 6 people, no, 5 or 6 is enough. And the best thing to do when they come out of the oven is just to let them stand for a minute or two. So they just makes it slightly easier to demold them. You need a cloth, and they should just pop out, and away we go. Now to serve them, there's all kind of things we can do. We could do ice cream, which is a favourite. We could do berries. Now, I'm a great believer in seasonality. And I wouldn't use strawberries and raspberries in December. However, I'm also a great believer in using products that work from the supermarkets. The supermarkets are there to make life a wee bit easier for us. And most supermarkets now sell these lovely individually quick frozen berries. You can find them in the deep chill counters. It's a selection of red berries which were frozen at the height of the summer. We've got cherries in there, we've got blackberries, we've got raspberries, and we've got bilberries, but they do get a slightly different mix. And that's quite simply 50% sugar to fruit. So if it's a pound of fruit, it's half a pound of sugar. And we just literally warm it through. There's no liquid in there at all, there's no water. All it needs at the end is just a tiny squish of lemon juice. So always use a lemon squeezer so we don't get the pips in there, nothing worse than that. Again, another excuse for a family argument, who got the pip and who didn't at Christmas. Try and avoid those. And then a wee touch of lemon juice in there, it just sharpens it up. Mix that through. And to serve this, it's really quite straightforward. We're going to put a little bit of this in the bottom of the bowl. A red fruit and chocolate are one of those little marriages made in heaven, especially raspberries and chocolate. That's why I've gone for this. And on a cold December day, I think it's nice to add a touch of colour to an otherwise can be a quite dreary time of the year, apart from the presents. And all we do is just gently pick up the mould, drop it on top of the berries, little hint of icing sugar like that. And here we have the chocolate fondant that you've seen from start to finish. For me, the perfect alternative on Christmas Day, or in fact any other time of the year, to be honest with you. But I'll save the best bit for last, and the best bit for last is inside. So I'm just going to run a knife in here, and you can just see this lovely, gooey, runny inside. Now that to me is Christmas heaven. There we have the perfect alternative Christmas dessert, chocolate fondant with red fruit berries, nice and simple. The recipe and all the ingredients are available on the website.